Okay, so I'm gonna try and uh, attempt to follow my own instructions and see how well this works. I'm not very good at modeling characters or using armatures. I'm still learning, but so I'm gonna delete the cube and I'm gonna add an armature. And so this is how we work with armatures. You go into edit mode. You've got object mode, edit mode, and pose mode. We're gonna you edit the armature obviously in edit mode, and then once you've once you bind it to something, then you pose it. So you've got a ball on the end of each thing, and then this part here. You can move the whole thing by selecting the middle, or the balls uh, move individually. So let's put this back. And what you do is you uh, this first bone it gives you is going to be your root, and this is the bottom, and this is the tip. So we want everything to come off of this, and that way you don't have two roots to worry about. And you grab the ball, select it, and hit E to extrude. And so we're going to say that this is that'll be the torso, these two. And I'm going to extrude another one up for just a little ways for a neck. And then this is the head. And back down here, this is going to be, we'll go out and call these shoulder blades. And another one. And here's an arm. Sometimes people make the arms going out, sometimes they make them down. I'm going to go out uh, about the same distance as the torso. I looked at the picture and yeah, it seems like the arms are they're not exactly proportioned like a human. So, oh, and a hand. We want the hands on the end. So here's a hand bone. Here's a hand. And then the hips down here. And go out a little bit. And then the thigh. Okay, something like that. And then the shin. And then a little foot. And same on the other side. I could, I guess, duplicate the left side and make the right side, but I'm snapping to the grid and trying to keep things even by eyeballs. Um, that looks good. And then foot. And last, uh, on the shoulder blades, I could have the wings coming out from here, I guess. And we'll have a wing that goes something like that. Maybe the head should be bigger. Okay. Um, yeah, so that's it's not necessarily the greatest thing in the world, but it will work for this. Just trying to test it out. The next thing I'm going to do is make. I guess I'm going to use grease pencil just because I'm learning to use grease pencil. You could just model like box modeling, extrude. But so let me go and get the picture I want to look at. Come on. Here we go. Over here. So looking at each part, it's just a lot of complex stuff which would fill in. Mainly, we would just want to get things in the right place and space in relation to each other, and sort of see how like the width of the shoulders is about the length of the upper arm and the lower arm. The legs, it's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but I'm guessing that they're about the same. Everything is like one unit. The hands are pretty big, but that's cool. And then the wings. So doing all this stuff like would probably be best if I like modeled some things by hand and stuck them around. Um, for some parts, like these little, like at the knees and hips and shoulders, there's these little bits, and then the head. I'm not gonna draw that with grease pencil, but just to get things in space to have some geometry to work with. We'll see how this works. Uh, so, um, hey, what's happening? My mouse is not working right. Grease pencil, blank, and then grease pencil's modes. You go into edit mode with tab, but that's not what you need to draw. You have to use this menu to go to draw mode. There's probably a hotkey, but I don't know it. So in draw mode, your cursor changes to this little thing, and we'll just start drawing in front view. I'm gonna draw. Uh, I'll, I'll start with. Let me look at the torso. Torso is like a lot of back and forth stuff. Um, and so I mean, all this looks like you could just scribble. So let's fill in this area with. I'm gonna draw on this side and then flip everything to the other mirror, like so. I'm just gonna scribble some lines. I don't know what I'm doing. It will be okay. And so with grease pencil, you're drawing on the plane. Your drawing plane is up here, and your origin is either placing it on the origin of the object, the 3D cursor, surface, or drawing on other strokes. So let's switch over to 3D cursor, and we're still in the view plane. Um, so if I was to like rotate the view a little bit and move the cursor, how do I move the cursor here? I might try moving the cursor with this. so I can adjust where I'm drawing. Draw some stuff like this. And see now that's that's too thick. Let's undo that. Put my see. Um, so if I switch over to draw on stroke, I think, wait, what's that? All targets, endpoints. So let's see what happens with this. I draw, like, see it tries to be on something and then goes in between. So like, once you have some depth of your strokes, it'll kind of snap back and forth. What happens here? Okay, so let's move on to the arms and stuff. I'm gonna put my cursor where select this guy. I'm just being silly, like there's no need to really worry about where the cursor is too much. I just want to try and select this armature. You'll learn a couple extra things about the cursor, I guess. Selected this little ball, and then Shift S to bring up the snap menu. Cursor to selected. So now my cursor is there, and going back to the grease pencil object, and go into draw mode and draw a little bit. So I'm going to go back to 3D cursor here. Let's give it some stuff for the arms. Can rotate the view and draw a little bit. Top. And the hand was kind of like this thing with a thing and then some fingers, which actually I should have thought more about looking at the picture sometimes. Let's see. Well, it's okay. Um, let's do one of the wings. Okay. So there's kind of like, I'm not going to worry about this bicycle gear thing, crank, pedal. I'll just draw this. One goes up and all the way. Some feathers coming out. And then one kind of goes up and then down. Maybe maybe I'll give it a little circle thing here. And just some stuff coming up for the neck, I guess. Once I make it into a mesh, I'm gonna add some shapes for like the joints and the head and stuff. Now, go to the legs. So back to object mode. Select the armature. Let's put the cursor there, Shift S U, and then back to the grease pencil. Go to draw mode. Look at the hips. I don't know, there's just some sideways stuff and then some up and down stuff, so draw. Maybe move the cursor forward and backwards a little. Oh wait, that's not the cursor, that's the rotation. I like that drawing on the stroke thing. It's kind of cool too. So do a little bit of that. Scribble, scribble. So now we got that. And so for the leg, I'm gonna put the cursor back here. Zero it. Draw down. Give this guy some big quads. Let's look at the feet. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Just draw. Some more scribblies. Oh, we're drawing on the stroke, not the cursor. Okay, so now I can go into edit mode on the grease pencil. I'm just going to select everything. I need to have my cursor at the center. So Shift S W puts the cursor to the world center. And then I'm going to Shift D, duplicate, and then S X -1. Oops. I'm using the wrong center. So transform pivot point to 3D cursor, S X -1, flips it over. So now we've got all this stuff, and we can go to sculpt mode. Lets you push or smooth or do stuff. So let's smooth some stuff here. It's not doing anything. Oh, it does. You just can't see. So giving it a little bit of randomness. Can't see much. What about this strength? Strength, I don't know what that does. Don't see anything. Randomize. It's random time. Oh, that's horrible. That's his back. You won't see it. Uh, grab. See, what do I want to grab? Maybe. All right. Should have done this before I duplicated and flipped everything. I don't know what that was for. But oh well. Okay. So we'll pretend I'm done with the grease pencil stuff. Now, how do we turn that into geometry? So we go to object mode. It'll look like this. W has convert to Bezier or polygon. Path complained. I don't know why, but so I'm gonna do polygon curves, and it created something, but it complained have no valid timing data. So that must have something to do with animation. So I'm gonna hide the. You see, one has the curve icon and one has the G pencil. I'm gonna just hide the G pencil one. So this is the curve, and you can tell because when you go into edit mode, you see this. You just have two modes. And your curve properties over here, you can give it either extrude, this is not going to look very good, or bevel. We're going to have a lot of extra geometry here if we don't simplify. So I'll show you what I mean. Once we turn the resolution up, getting a lot of points. It says I've got like 10,000 verts, and I bet that if it was converted to a mesh, it would be like millions. So that's good for now. So I don't want too much. It's kind of looking cool though. So some stuff you can do with curves, like I'm gonna show you. Let's close these tips. Deal with these open spots. You go in and you deselect everything. And under the select menu, you've got select first, select last, or deselect first, deselect last. So we're going to do both of those. Select all those, and then do it again. Select last, and then let me remember my hotkey here, or it's over on the item. I think that would be radius. So if you turn the radius up, you can see it's making the ends and beginnings big. So I'm just going to type 0 in that box. And then grow a little bit. And so the average is now 1 because they were all 2. And now we have a 0 and a 1 selected, so the average is 1. And go ahead and type like 0.25. Now we've got tips that close off. And select all and go to, let's see, curve, control point, smooth, curve, cleanup, decimate curve. I don't need all that many points, so only Bezier curves are supported. Uh-oh. I could convert it to Bezier, I guess. Curve, set spline type, Bezier, and then curve, cleanup, decimate. And here in the properties for decimate, we'll change the ratio. The smaller the ratio, the more it tries to look at the angle between things and then just gets rid of some. So we've simplified it a lot. That's like 0.13. Still basically looks the same, but we don't need all those points. And yeah, maybe I'll smooth a little bit. Or smooth radius. That way, get more of that see-through part. Okay, so that looks good for now. I'm going to convert this to a mesh. Um, Object should be like down here somewhere. Convert. That's Alt C. So I'm going to convert this to a mesh. I might tell it to keep the original though, and then hide that. So here, that goes there. So really we just need the armature and then this mesh we've made. And in that mesh, now if you go into, you can see that if we didn't clean up those curves, this would be so dense. Um, all right, so let's put our cursor up here. I'm gonna press, well, let's just hide the armature. Because we didn't make a head. So get up here somewhere. Let's find something. We just make a symmetrical selection right here. I'll grab these two and then Shift SU. I'll put my cursor right between them and add a cube. Scale it down to better size. Move it up a little bit. I think in the picture it's longer and it has these little eye things and some other thing on top, and it's smoothed out. So SY. Should I move it forward? That. Move those down a little bit, and maybe shrink it a little bit. Might give it a bevel this top edge a little bit, and then these put a bevel on both of those. So bevel, Control B. L, hover the mouse and press L. Select that thing. Let's subdivide it, and it doesn't have any smoothness, so whoa. Well, it's not a good, not a happy looking shape, but it's okay. So these little eye, maybe I'll put some eye things here. This face, this face. Press I twice. There. And then extrude those. That's good. He's got square eyes. I'm happy with it though. And then something on the top, why not? We'll grab this vertex right here and it's Control Shift B to make a little, roll the wheel down again. Oops, wrong way. There's this little thing on top. Extrude that up. Maybe make it. Oop, I need to change my cursor back to median point. Scale it. Okay, so here's our dude, kinda. We need some joint things. Like he's got shoulder. We need to give him some shoulder pads, I guess. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make one side and then flip it over. I'm gonna grab some vertex in the area I want over here. No, down in there. So right there. Call that my Shift S U. Use that location for my cursor. I'm gonna add a plane. Well, no. Yeah. Plane. So scale it a little small. And then tap R twice and give it a little bit of a rotation, some angle. Um, and I can Shift H now to hide everything unselected. And I might give it a cut and rotate that cut a little. Or yeah, and then move it around so that when I subdivide it once or twice, now we got this shape. We will, what should I do? Maybe smooth it a little bit times. Okay, now extrude so it's got some thickness. And yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna smooth it again. Okay, so it's in there. We got something for that. And so Shift SW, I'm gonna put the cursor back at the center of the world. Make sure I'm using the cursor as my pivot. Duplicate that across. So Shift D and then SX -1. Put it over there. After that kind of operation, you usually need to recalculate your normals. So just a good habit. Control in. Um, let's just duplicate this guy, put him over where the, oops, so I'm going to invert my selection, Alt H, and then invert my selection again, so that I've got that thing selected. I'm going to duplicate it, put it over on the elbow, and rotate, change my pivot point back to median, and then give it a little rotation, maybe scale it. I'm going to swell it up a little. Oh, that's no good. Scale it on the y-axis. Okay, so he's got some sort of elbow thing. Let's rotate it like this. And then scale it. Let's see. Some sort of, oh, that's terrible. Let's fix it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Over here, there's not even a connection. So we put this guy over here. And what do we have that we can, let's just, wish they had a decimate here. Isn't there one? Control F maybe? No, nothing useful. Oops, that's not even in the right place. Well, I'm gonna just swell it up a whole bunch and then smooth the verts and see what I get. Repeat till, it's just a blob. But that's what I want. So, scale it down, put it in the right place. Now it looks like there's something connecting them. Hips. Let's go look at this guy. He's got this thing that's kind of like what we had for the head, but just part of it. So I'm just going to rip off. Well, I'll just use the same thing. Duplicate it down here. What do we got for these hips? Maybe a big rotate. Too big. But I only want the, okay, let me hide everything else. Shift H. I just want part of it. So I'm gonna, let's see, what should I do here? Edge split, or I'll grab these edges, this ring, and then X, and then get rid of that stuff. Over with L and X, delete them. So now I got this part here, and I'll solidify it, extrude, and then right click. It's back at the same place, and I just hit Alt S to swell it up a little bit. And maybe I'll give it a ring cut just for fun, so that when it smooths, I'm going to do smooth verts. So we got that shape there. Let's Alt H. I'm upside down. L. So there's some hips. Let's look at this thing again. They're terrible, but that's okay. They were more on the. It was more like on the front. Which is the front. Oops. Right. Okay. We're just gonna live with it. It's cool. Good enough. Maybe it should be like right there. I should have made thicker, bigger, more. Maybe I'll duplicate one of these guys forward. Little random rotation. And a bit. I don't know. Oh, you know what? All these things I'm forgetting. I'm gonna have to get all that. That everything's different on this side, so I'm gonna let's do that. Make him a kneecap and then flip the stuff. For the kneecap, it's like he's got this little circle. We're gonna need a circle up here too, so I might click here, add a circle. You can just say align it with the view is pretty useful, and give it a triangle fan. Scale it down. Extrude. Give it some thickness. Like that, maybe. I'm not going to worry about the pedal cranks, but I could, I guess. So let me get that guy selected and duplicate one down here. The kneecaps. Give him a little bit of some kind of rotation. I don't know. How about that? And so all the stuff that's on one side, I'm going to duplicate over to the other. Start with covering this wrist thing, this elbow thing, this hip, this kneecap, this wing cap. That one piece that I made, which I should have not, but I did, so I gotta do it. What else do I need to get? Did I get? I already mirrored the shoulder blade, so we're good there. Cursor mode, 3D cursor. So Shift SD, duplicate, and then SX -1. Oop, wait, oh, my cursor's in the wrong place, so Shift SW, put the cursor in the right place, and then SX -1. So there's all that stuff. Um, yeah, we're doing okay. It looks like we're doing good. And now we just need to bind it to the armature, which is not as difficult as it sounds. Now, fine-tuning things looks like I'm totally missing stuff in the middle, so let me get in there. And, well, I guess I'll just connect this loop and this loop. Let's see, F. No. What is that? Bridge? Control F has bridge. Maybe they moved it. Bridge. Is it E? No. I'll do that. Control E. Yeah, no. Wait. Bridge. Where'd bridge go? Bridge. Okay. So that worked. Let's do that to a couple more. This loop, I'm holding Alt and right clicking. Um, and I'm using the old-fashioned hotkeys. So it's probably a different hotkey if you're new to Blender and you're using the defaults for now. So Control E, bridge. Let's get this one here. This one here. Shift Alt. Control E, bridge. Okay. Maybe a couple ring cuts in there just because. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. It's just extra geometry, but who knows? So we got that. Let's his sternum is kind of empty. He needs something in here. So maybe grab that part and control click down. Let's see. Control click down to like there. And then shift click that one, and then control shift click down there. Okay, so I got the edges and I'm gonna duplicate that and then F, and then so I just made that piece. I'll give it a little bit of a thickness, and there we go. Should I triangulate it or just? I should have just beveled it. So, undo. I'm gonna select all and no. I want just the edges of this bevel. Maybe one like that. So okay, so we stuck a piece in there. It's not looking quite so empty and weird. The back is kind of weird, but okay. I mean, I would give him some cool stuff for the back, but I'm not quite sure what I would do. So let's go ahead and unhide all the geometry in edit mode. Give him some little details. Could randomly select some of these loops, not the long waves ones, but the around ones. So I just want like a couple of those here and there. There's got to be a better way to do it. No, manually is gonna. I'm just gonna get this, and I'll duplicate that, scale it up a little bit. Oh, wait, median point. Scale it up. Extrude. No, that's not what I want. Undo, undo. Just um, let's see. All right. The only way that I can think of to do this is going to be real tedious, but I do want a couple of these details here and there to like be like welds or stuff. So that, and it's okay if I select some wrong ones that go the long ways, but we're going to just put some of these all on one side. A bunch of them, really. I need a bunch. Let's go down here. Some more. You'll see. You'll see. Okay, so I could do that for longer, but what I'm going to do is going to duplicate them. They're just a bunch of rings that are on the surface, and then separate them. Go over and grab just them. It will let me select them. Come on, grab it. There. So I just have these rings. I'm going to convert that to a curve and give that curve some, either probably some, just a little bit of a bevel. We'll give it bevel depth, but with not a lot of resolution. Just maybe one. Yeah, just a little. I'll convert that back to a mesh, and let's mirror it. Just duplicate the whole thing, or cursor is. So I need to be in 3D cursor, pivot, and duplicate SX minus 1, as long as my cursor was at the center of the world. Okay, so now we'll unhide. Oops, I unhided everything. I've got this mesh that I'm working on. I got that mesh I'm working on. I got this mesh. I don't know what that one is. Got my grease pencil. I need to hide that or delete it. Let's delete the curve object. We don't need that. The old one. Um, which one's this? So that's them. I want to merge them back in with this guy. So those two, Control J, right? No, wasn't it? Is it not doing it? What is merge? Maybe it's. Oh, I selected the curve thing, and because I told it to keep the original on one conversion, that setting stays until you change it back. So it's been keeping the original. That's why I ended up with extra stuff here. I don't want that one. I don't need it. So get rid of that guy. And I don't need the G pencil object. Delete it. What are these things? What's the difference between this guy and what is this? Oh, those are the rings that when I converted, I see. Okay, so I ended up with a lot of extra stuff. Okay. This, those, that's all I need. Okay, so shift click that guy, Control J. Now that's two meshes. It'll join them. It won't join a mesh to a curve or a curve to a mesh. So that's what happened. So now that I have this mesh selected, I'm gonna get the armature and I'm gonna select the mesh first, then hold Shift and select the armature. And what you do is it's the parent hotkey, Control P, and you're not just parenting it, you're doing armature deform with automatic weights. So it thinks for a while, and then it does that. I don't know if symmetrically is a good thing or not, but I could have turned on the X mirror if I needed. But so now we go and we select the armature, go into pose mode, and we oh, this thing, it's so bad. uh, um, so let's first, I made the hands like rotate the wrong way, so I'm gonna rotate that bone. See, now I've got my hand. See, was that Y? Oh, look, some things just got left out. See what happens if I move the head bone. See, that's the thing with automatic weights. You have some of these things were like close enough to that bone that they're getting messed up. Um, but we'll deal with it. Like, this is like roughing it in continual refinement until you get there, closer and closer each time. Can I rotate the, definitely want to be on median point when you're posing bones. That will move the bone correctly. So if I rotate my foot, uh, as you can see, some of these weights didn't automatically work right. My first attempt was a lot simpler and it did work. So, let's see. When you go into your, is it bone groups or, no, it's this, okay, select this mesh object in object mode. And you see how you have a vertex group for every bone? If you labeled the bones, it would be a lot more meaningful right here, but so I'm just gonna have to go select the armature, go into edit mode and look, see what I'm selecting. It says this is bone 16 right here. So we'll fix this. And we may have to do that for every single one. That's gonna suck. But that's life. Um, so go here, go into edit mode. Don't need that selected. Bone, the bone 16 group somewhere. If I've got that selected, I want all of these to belong to bone 16. So I can see what's going on if I go into weight paint. See how, so when I change my group, it's showing kind of like that's helpful. So if I select bone 16, I just need to paint the missing bones. And your weight you're painting is right here. So just paint, paint. Probably helpful to be in tap Z to make sure you're in this kind of see-through mode or whatever, wireframe. So when I paint my weight, it gets the back. So now we'll go and try and pose this guy again. In object mode, go to the armature, go to pose mode, rotate that bone. Wait, we're not getting selected right. Well, too bad. Undo the rotation. No, 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 not that. Back to object. Go back to this thing. What happened here? Why bone 16 not work? Wait, paint. Oh, I see. They just didn't get it all. Because, what? It doesn't do it if I must have, I must need to look at what's going on here. Kind of new to this. Blend, front. Oh, look. Front faces only. There we go. So, does it even have to be wireframe mode for that? Like, doesn't look like that. Yeah, so you go to the brush and say uncheck front faces only if you got stuff like this. What else is going on here? Okay, so I'm just going to zoom way out and get all that. And get that for bone 16. And then let's go back to our armature and test it out. Let's see if we did it right. Object mode. Select the armature. Pose mode. Back the bone. Now we rotate it and see. Yeah, I'm gonna like let that one go for now. Posing this whole guy is gonna be pretty tedious. Maybe I'll become a good video editor and speed this part up or something. But I'm gonna go through and see if I can get this guy into sort of a position like in the picture. Wow. Take a sip of my coffee. Okay. So you really don't want to do all the posing till you're done doing all the weights. So I'm gonna do that. Go back to object mode, and then sky. Maybe just view this guy local view, so I don't need to see the armature. And weight paint. Maybe there's better ways to do this than weight paint, like what is the difference between vertex paint? Oh, vertex paint's for like colors and stuff, right? Okay. So I don't know why. Oh, see, there's little parts I missed. It's good to kind of inspect. That's bone 16. It's just going to start at the top. First bone, anything that looks like torso. So that's, and then what's bone one? So top torso, bottom torso. Let's say bone. Can I hold shift and select more than one? No. Okay. So bone is going to be all that stuff. I think if I had simplified my bones more, it would have been more sensible than this. And why do we have remesh here? Oh, because it's just mesh stuff. Right, right. So that was my lower torso. I didn't really intend to have a lower and an upper torso, so I shouldn't have made two bones. But I've got two bones. I'm gonna have to deal with that. If I turn the weight down, I can unpaint some of this top stuff. Your square brackets make your brush bigger, so we can get more. It's really this about the back. Oop, way back up. That's that's what it's gonna be, something like that. And well, yeah, probably that too. Probably that. Probably that. Those are more like hip. I guess I did give him hip bones, so those are hip bones, but pretty torso-y. Next bone, we need to unweight the bottom stuff. Looks pretty good. Just don't want any weights down there. Um, way back up. Let's get the top. It's kind of hard to get in there to zoom in. Another way to do this would be to go into edit mode and just assign the groups manually and like remove, clean, maybe hover over individual pieces so that I was getting the whole thing, but like this is not going to be an exact perfect thing. And if I get up here and accidentally get some of the head, I'll just clean the head later. See, that won't be too much of a problem, I think. Um, all right, next, the neck. Okay, this thing. Okay, so I'm gonna go into edit mode, hover just the head. That's bone 3. Assign 1 to bone 3. And isn't there like a, oh, I thought, right, okay, let's go back to work. Weight paint here. So looks okay. Should work, right? Um, you can see that the normals need to be fixed on that guy to that guy. Maybe I'll go to edit mode, select all, and then control N. Let's see, go back to weight paint. Well, maybe not. I thought that would, maybe this guy has accidentally got some of the, yeah. So whatever the wing, should have labeled these bones before I did the vertex group thing. Definitely labeling bones is a lesson I learned. Um, what bone is this? It's the wing bone. Oh, this is the shoulder blade stuff. This is the arm. See, they didn't get any of these little things. That guy and that guy. I need to turn down the weight there, so I don't want any of that. I don't want that. Don't want that. Um, next, this one looks pretty good, except for maybe that doesn't need to be like that. Next, didn't get that finger. Oop. Get all that. Next. This is all messed up because really it should just make one wing bone. I don't need two. Uh, I don't need any of this stuff down here. But do that there. Okay. Next. Why they got all this stuff there? That. It's gonna have to live with it. Maybe. Um, so we've got another shoulder blade that's going all the way down to there. That's not right. Doesn't really even. Shoulder blades were apparently not a good idea. I mean, I'm learning. This is actually my first time to do any of this kind of stuff, so I've just watched some tutorials, sort of think I have the idea. I know if I did this a couple times, it would work out better. Oops. I need to shrink this a little bit. But it is the kind of a object that this sort of character doesn't have to look perfect. I mean, since it's all handmade and out of like welded stuff, it's fine if there's little mess ups. They'll just make it look cool, hopefully. What you don't want to end up with is parts that have no weight on any bone or group. They're not part of anything. They'll just kind of stick in thin air. Next, gotta get that thing. Looks like we mostly did. Next, this is our wing thing. Just needs to get those guys there and that guy there. Actually, it really doesn't. That should be more of the shoulder blade thing. But oops. Oh well. We'll see how this works out. Let's make this be. See what happens. Let's get this whole thing. Good scrub, 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 and then look at it. It's all the way down there. Just want that stuff. Maybe get that. Okay. We're like halfway through. So this thing, let me see. It's fully under. It's like red in this one and it's red in this one. That might be a problem. I don't know. You can see that it's not quite getting all that stuff there. Definitely don't want any of that on there. Or this. Like, what's that doing? Next. Wait, we've done that one. This. Here's his hip. Somehow. Uh, come on. His hip needs to have that removed there from it. That would be very uncomfortable if your chest moved up there when you move your hips. Just get that all cleaned up. But maybe do have some weight for these guys. Yeah, that's gonna be hip. What can we do to fix this easier? Let's go to edit mode, control. No, that thing, and say assign weight back to weight paint. So it's fully red there. Bone. This one, this is the leg. So looks okay, but it doesn't need any of the hip stuff. So let's clean that there. Maybe. We do want our little welds to stick. Could have added those welds at the last, and it would have been just as well. A lot easier if I had done that later. You always learn a little bit on Blender, and then you have to go back and forward. It's like I used to just give up every time I learned something new and start over right then. It's better to kind of just file it away in your head for next time instead of giving up what you're doing. But it's hard not to get frustrated. Like, what is this? Why is that there? Why is that there? This is the lower leg part, which we want that. Here, let's go to edit mode. Z. Deselect. Draw a box around these guys. Box around these guys. Control L. And then assign. That's probably a better way than painting. And go back to weight paint, and you can see that it's gone all the way down and gotten that stuff. So I need to clean the bottom stuff. I don't want that. Do I want the kneecap for the... Yeah, I mean, the kneecap moves with that part, right? No? Maybe. Well, yeah, this guy's just welded out of junk. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So the foot's cool. I think I already did the foot. Now, bone. The hip bone on the other side. Wait, on the other side. We don't need that to be part of it. Probably another thing I could have done is draw short strokes so there wouldn't be like, so they would be kind of confined to a single area. But hey, oh well. Gotta learn somehow. Let's just do that. Should the hip bone, what is the, if I labeled the hip bone, I could quickly switch over to the other hip bone and take a look at how it was going. It was done there. But I know I'm gonna go to edit mode, this guy here, and just assign. back to white paint. There we go. It's okay. Maybe some of these other guys here too. Okay, next. Almost done. Is this 13? No, 17. A little bit of the kneecap, a little bit of the hip. We don't want the hips on this. So, 0 here. There. Hey, oops, I meant, yeah. Come on. There do I not want that thing? Do I want that thing? I don't. There's this. So I don't want the bottom stuff. And now the last. I think this is the last. Yeah, that's the last bone, supposedly. So we go back to object mode. We go to pose. Oh wait, select the armature, which is hidden because I'm in local. So tap slash on the number pad. Get back into regular. It says local up here. If you can't see stuff, always a good idea to make sure you're not in local. So get the armature, and now we pose it. Um, so this is where I should take a look at the picture again and see what the angles are. It looks like he's probably got a pretty sharp angle for that stuff there. So we're gonna point the feet more like that, and one a little more than the other. I don't know which is which. So now that's probably about a 90 degree. This is a little more because his knee is lower on this side. So that's the 90-degree one. A little more. Let's get both of the thighs and take them forward. What's the angle what sort of angle we got here? That's probably somewhere in the right ballpark. And we got to pretend that the ground is like we'll have to move him at the last minute. But so basically we're at the part where we just got to move the arms in the right position and then push those wings back and tilt his head back. So the arms are out front. The hands have to rotate. So let's see. What's he got going on this arm is gonna have a little bend in the elbow. This one not so much. Which way is that elbow bending? Sort of. So a little bit up and then forward. See, there's a vert that didn't get weighted, but I'm just gonna smooth it until we'll see if we can do this and then go back, because I'm obviously not gonna undo everything I just did, just to go back for one vert. This arm needs to come forward and have just a slight bend. So give him like a little bit and ooh, wait, that's the wing. Where's my come on, get the right thing. There's another bit of stuff that didn't get the right thing. Hey, get in there. Okay, so let's push this wing back and this wing get in there and get the right thing. Want that bone and that bone back. And then I want to rotate or move that a little bit. We're back. I like forward, it looks better. I'll do a little bit back on this. It doesn't need to be symmetrical, right? Now let's get the head bone and give this guy a twist. Just wait, like this. Just kind of looking up. And the whole arm. So when you tab and you go into edit mode, it's going to go to pose or rest. We're in pose. Don't worry, just object mode will be fine. So when I go into object mode and grab this guy and let's give him some arch to his back. Let's go back to the armature, pose, just the back, tape just a little bit more like that. And I guess maybe some of these are a little sharp. To rotate the hands correctly. How was that guy's hand? Oh, his hand was like down on the ground, but then up. So I need to rotate the hand up. Could have gave him a finger thing, so his fingers would be coming up, but I didn't. And so this guy, was that RYY? So back in, let's go to object mode, select the mesh, go to weight paint. What is this dude here needing? That bone. What bone is that? Probably cycling through the arrow keys until maybe I'll find it. Looks like it was part of that stuff. Or that. Is it this one? I get it that. There! Fixed it. Okay, so that was that. Back to object mode. And I think what I'm going to do now is take the mesh and Alt-C, convert to mesh, keep the original, but hide uh, hide the hide the one that's all rigged up and stuff. So now I've just got this one that I can Alt-P, clear the parent. It can just sit over here and hide that. So there, we've got the dude that's rigged and then just a copy that's like baked at that one shape. So we can try and rotate him around. Yeah, hide the armature, hide the whole thing. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. This guy. Oh, clear the location. My hack. I've got to see. He was kind of. Which was the one where? Okay, that's where his hand was on the ground, and his feet needed a more of an angle to get in the right position, but it's not bad. So we'll say that that's it. We're gonna put him up on the ground plane like that. Maybe he needed to be rotated a little bit like that. Is that a plane? Scale it up really big. Make the whole dude metal. It's gonna be shiny. Um, Metallic. I'll turn the metallic almost all the way up and the roughness mostly down. And I'm gonna have some. And it's gonna be like vaporwave or something. So I'm gonna just make a, I don't know, a magic texture, and put the camera from like this angle, and see what we got. Oh no. Well, it's getting there. Weird. Oh, that's because the hidden stuff is rendering. Oops. So just delete this. I'm gonna save. Attempt at welded guy. Save. And now save again, but Control Shift S plus on the number pad. This is the one where I delete all this stuff. And delete the armature. And that's the thing. X. And X. G, Shift Z, push it back a little bit. RG, line it up more. There we go. Was the angle like there? Yeah, kind of something like that. The wings should have been a little bigger. And probably the material, being shiny, is not good. Let's make it darker. Black. What does it look like now? Yeah. So if I was really now that I've learned what I've learned, probably could this is what we're at an hour and a half, and yeah, I mean that's about what I was expecting to get in an hour and a half. Could have done more, but um, there we go. That should be the. Let me save this. Where are we? Do it on the desktop. Um, welded guy. And okay, I'm gonna quit this and stop this. Wish you luck. Hopefully you learned something.